Hi, everyone, and welcome back, and thanks for being a part of the program this Tuesday, May the 17th, Election Day across the Commonwealth, where the dismal weather conditions and other factors are keeping turnout levels just close to where they were expected across Kentucky polls. If you're watching the early show, just now closing, no information at this moment in regards to, of course, voter turnout here in Montgomery County, neighboring counties, or who voters chose in a limited primary ballot. We'll have that for you on tomorrow's program. I need to preface the rest of this program tonight as I did last night with an apology of sorts. It's going to be another brief program as I'm still maybe 50% as to whatever I normally run on a day-to-day basis. But nevertheless, just this bug has really become a burden and it's not giving up. So I'll try to carry on and proceed without coughing and having to turn to the water cup here too awful much, but just my apologies once again. Even though it's going to be a brief show like last night and like every night, there are going to be headlines that you're only going to find here. We'll talk about a couple of updates on a couple of road projects, not just the Mountain Parkway expansion project and the delays that you'll see in Sagersville starting tomorrow, but also Route 23 as the transportation cabinet there has come to the realization about just how long it's going to take to clean up that mess and that dangerous situation. Our top headline tonight is still rendering, and I'll have that in just a few moments. And that is the motion which was answered by the federal court in regards to the request to have significant, as we can call it, evidence dismissed. The scathing allegations made in his statements to the FBI by Scotty McCarty before we learned of those publicly, even before that, Magistrate Gary Rooster Reissners' attorneys had moved for a motion of dismissal to not allow those statements and that information into trial. A judge has ruled on that motion as of today, and we'll go over those court records with you in just a few moments. With that said, I'm just going to pause for just a few moments. Time for a little water break. We'll pick it up with local headlines right after these words from some of our sponsors. We'll start with our Pets of the Week. And like our friends, the Johnson County Animal Shelter, and all those who have ads on this program, please be sure and let them know you're watching every chance you have.
For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications.
A couple of updates on a couple of ongoing road projects, both which are going to be in the make for quite some time. The first is the Mountain Parkway expansion project, which of course we are well aware of is going to take some time to complete. It's just now really getting underway in the Restaurant Row area here in Sagersville and Montgomery County, and that's where the Kentucky Department of Transportation tells me tonight through the Mountain Parkway expansion team that we can start to expect some different delays beginning on Restaurant Row and here in Sagersville starting tomorrow.
Utility contractors working on the Mountain Parkway expansion in Montgomery County will be needing to stop traffic along Restaurant Row over the next few weeks. They'll be doing so in order to replace power transmission lines that cross the current roadway. So traffic, they did tell us and advise us, will be stopped periodically for about 5 to 10 minutes each time beginning early tomorrow. And the delays could occur for more than 2 weeks. Utility crews will work daily, including weekends, they say, to complete all the relocations along the 2.4-mile project. They also tell me that in some cases, traffic might be shifted to allow at least one lane of the roadway to remain open. Flaggers will be in the area to direct traffic, but drivers along Restaurant Row are asked to reduce their speeds and be prepared for some short delays. As for the utility service that they're actually working on, they also tell me that no disruptions to utilities are expected to be a part of the project. But you can expect some delays to the tune of 5 or 10 minutes periodically beginning tomorrow and through the next few weeks. Now going on up to Ivell, traffic is still down to two 12-foot lanes using the southbound lanes of US 23 at Ivell and Floyd County after the slide that started last Wednesday, a week ago today. Wide loads are now prohibited in the area. Keep that in mind. Highway District 12 Chief District Manager Mary Westfall Holbrook says the slide area is within the sight of the 7-mile marker on the northbound lanes between the Davidson Memorial Gardens and the Ivell Post Office. And she also says the hillside still, a week later, is not stable. Even though they've cleaned up the pavement, you can see and hear the rock and earth moving up the hill, and they just simply can't put motorists on the northbound lanes while there's still any danger that that material and earth could come down. They're estimating it could take 2 months to correct the situation. In the meantime, any wide loads, vehicles that have a permit from the Division of Motor Carriers, need to go around the area. There's no marked detour. They may have to go as far as Hazard in one direction or as far as Charleston in the other direction, and that's upon them to figure that out. She said the team at District 12 and the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet recognizes that this will be a significant inconvenience for what could be a prolonged period of time, but pointed out that District 12's job is to protect the traveling public, and that might mean temporary inconveniences for some drivers. So meanwhile, the two 12-foot southbound lanes are carrying two-way traffic on the busiest stretch of highway in eastern Kentucky. The speed limit is 55 miles per hour, but they do encourage people to slow down, as many are. Despite the radar trailers, however, there are some other folks that continue to just hammer right on and pay no regard to the workers or the other traffic. If people don't slow down, they're risking their lives and property and the lives and property of others. She has praised many law enforcement agencies and others who are assisting with traffic control because it's going to be around the clock for some time. The city of Prestonburg PD, Floyd County SO, the state police, Kentucky Vehicle Enforcement, the Allen and Betsy Lane Volunteer Fire Departments also coming out and helping with traffic control, as we suspect it will be a group effort for what she says is possibly going to be a couple of months.
With that, a few things on tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. I've got this one just in, don't have it on the calendar, but I got to tell you about Superhero Boot Camp. It's coming up very soon. It's actually going to be at the McGoffin County Extension Office, and it's going to be this Saturday from 11 till 1, $10 per person. Wear your favorite superhero outfit. Seating is limited. Registration, you can register by calling 349-3216, hosted by the Funyun Homemakers. Join them to fight crime with your favorite superheroes, and that is this Saturday. I'll maybe even try to get a few more details tomorrow to pass that along, but they had that, I think they've been having it for a few years now, the Superhero Boot Camp this Saturday. A little farther down the line, their annual Outdoor Adventure Day Camp at the Extension Services coming up. July the 7th and the 8th, that's for kindergarten through 3rd grades. Then July the 20th and 21st for 4th through 8th. And then July the 22nd is going to be a day at the park for all of those age groups to come together. However, you need to get registered now, and you can do so by calling, once again, the Extension Office, 349-3216, or you could probably register while you're at Superhero Boot Camp, I would imagine, as well. I'll remind you about those later. Right now, a few other reminders and a new announcement or two on the rest of your calendar.
First up, there will be an election for parent members at North McGoffin Elementary this Thursday, day after tomorrow, 4 o'clock in the school's library. 2 parents are going to be selected to serve on the council for the upcoming school year. The council meets 1 time a month and can have additional meetings if necessary. To be eligible to serve on the site-based council, parents must have a child currently enrolled or pre-registered for the upcoming school year. Also, parents must participate in an initial 6-hour training and an additional 3 hours each year of re-election. Remember, Mountain of Hope Christian Camp, a non-denominational organization, is sponsoring Church in the Park this Saturday. 4 pastors of local churches preaching throughout the day, a couple of groups and individuals singing between the preaching, and free food throughout. Bring your youth group. They might be interested in what they hear. They think everyone will. If you come and join them for Church in the Park this Saturday in the Ramey Park, 10 till 3. Also this Saturday, the 5th annual Bass Tournament, sponsored by the Elk Creek Free Will Baptist Church. Guaranteed first place is $1,000, second's $500, third is $300, fourth is $200, $500 is $100, and there's $100 awarded every hour for the boat that weighs in the biggest fish. They'll leave the Alfrey Boat Ramp on Cave Run, 7 o'clock that morning. You can register that morning or call the numbers on the bottom of your screen. And if you pre-register by this Sunday, you can save $5 and get a super cool t-shirt. They have put together a 5K glow run walk, and you can also just donate, do either or all three. Sponsored by the New Generation Church here in McGoffin County. It's a night glow run, so come decorated in glow sticks. They're going to have a wonderful run, a wonderful cause. All proceeds go to buy Christmas gifts for kids in Haiti. The run is not until Friday, June the 10th at 9:30 that night in the Ramey Park. But if you pre-register, once again, you get that free T-shirt and a $5 discount. Now through Sunday, registration is $25. Race day, it's $30. Kids 7 to 13, it's just $15, and kids 6 and under, well, they get a race and have fun for free. Your calendar announcements and birthdays and anniversaries too, they're free here on the program. All you have to do is tell me so I can tell everyone else about it, and these are the many ways you can do so, which also, of course, includes dropping them off here at the Your News Today studio on East Maple Street, just a few doors above the Salyersville Post Office. Turning to obituaries, brought to you on behalf of our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. We have listings for services for 50-year-old Robert Ray Howard of Falcon, who passed away on the 15th, the son of Eva Lee Bailey Howard and the late Bobby Howard. Besides his mother, he's survived by his wife, Shelley Kahn Howard, and daughter, Jillian Lee. Visitation began this evening. It will continue up until tomorrow morning's services, which are set to start at 11 o'clock, all from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Louise Patrick, Virginia Louise Salyer Patrick, 91 of East Mountain Parkway, passed away on the 15th. On Sunday's date, she was married to Henry Clay, who preceded her in death, but she's survived by sons Julian, David, and Everett Patrick. Visitation is going to be after 4 o'clock tomorrow, and prior to Thursday's services, they'll begin at 11 o'clock in her honor, all from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. We've also been told of the passing of 70-year-old Anna Mae Arnett Howard of Middle Fork, who passed away on yesterday's date. She was married to Claude Lee Howard, who survives. She's also survived by daughters Penny Lynn Prater, Robin Lynn McCarty, and sons Ricky Brent Gardner and John Bennett Howard. Visitation is this evening, all day tomorrow, and prior to Thursday morning services at 11, all from the Salyersville Funeral Home. And 85-year-old Edward Grigsby of Pleasant Hill passed away on yesterday's date, survived by his partner Beverly Grock Johnson. Visitation will be after 1 o'clock tomorrow and prior to Thursday's services that start at 1 that afternoon, all from the Salyersville Funeral Home.
While it is Election Day in Kentucky, we'll talk about today's primary on tomorrow's program. Tonight, however, we'll take a look back at elections past 2010 and 2014 in regards to court documents which have been released today. Even before the scathing statements made to the FBI were made public via official records that I first broke to you days ago, attorneys for McGoffin County Magistrate Gary Rooster Reissner had already moved to have those statements made by then co-defendants Scotty McCarty to the FBI dismissed on grounds of hearsay and other arguments. Now tonight we're not going to go back and rehash those allegations or statements made by McCarty, as I think everyone is very well aware of those at this time. However, we will rather tonight take a close look at Reissner's attorney's response to why the FBI and government says the evidence, which includes details on a conspiracy to buy votes going back to 2010, and we'll also take a look at the order that the court has just handed down today in regards as to whether or not that evidence will be allowed before the judge and jury in the case.
We'll begin with a portion of the documents before you now. These documents support a response on behalf of Magistrate Rooster Reissner's reasons through his attorneys as to why McCarty's evidence and statements should not be admissible in court. Reissner's attorneys contend that and in their response that the United States acknowledges that the hearsay rule is applicable and that McCarty will be limited to his personal knowledge, and that one of the hurdles which even the government acknowledges it must overcome is to establish that the incident that McCarty claimed actually even happened. Magistrate Reissners' attorneys also argued that, as the court is well aware, you can't unring the bell, and in addition to the hearsay incidents listed in the initial motion, the following claimed incidents are probably subject to exclusion, either as hearsay or under the balancing test of a case cited as United States versus Merriweather. Those that they referred to were several statements, and I'll not go through them in entirety, but the fact that McCarty was told that Rooster Reissner had put in $2,000, Charles Hardin put in $30,000, and Larry and Renee Shepard put in $10,000 into a stack of 50s that McCarty claimed was in a safe belonging to Randy Salyer. They also claimed as hearsay other incidents that Charles Hardin and Gary Rooster Reissner gave a job to Susie Salyer in 2010 as a reward for her husband going to prison, that there was certain discussion about blacktopping roads that would garner more votes than building a community center, and the list goes on. Reissner's attorneys claim that the government's response in and of itself highlighted why this evidence shouldn't be included. In its response, it claimed, Reissner's attorneys that is, claimed that the government suggests that the conviction of Randy Salyer in 2011 supports the introduction of evidence from the 2010 election. And they say Randy Salyer is not a defendant in this action, and that the FBI 302 of Scotty McCarty does not even mention him as being involved in the 2014 election, and the United States speculates that Randy Salyer was hired by Dr. Hardin as a reward, but that is pure speculation and that it had nothing to do with the current case at hand. Magistrate Reissner's attorneys went on to claim that the prejudice is great since the government has very little other evidence, and that the prejudice is great since the evidence will take up a significant part of the government's case. Now comes the order that was returned in federal court earlier today. Now, the order begins by referencing, as you see just a portion of here, that the United States indicated to the court that they do plan on introducing cooperating co-defendant Scotty McCarty's testimony that the co-conspirators named in the superseding indictment were members of a similar conspiracy during the election cycles in McGoffin County in 2010, and that McCarty is expected to testify that he was significantly involved with the individuals buying votes during both the 2010 and 2014 elections, and that he considered himself to be in the fold, as he put it, with Gary Rooster Reissner, Charles Doc Hardin, and Larry Shepard. The court referred to background evidence, saying that under limited circumstances, the government may introduce evidence of past conduct if that conduct is sufficiently tied to the presently charged offense. It also said that background evidence also includes those other acts that are inextricably intertwined with the charged offense, or those acts, the telling of which is necessary to complete the story of the charged offense. And that here in this case, the evidence the United States seeks to introduce as background evidence occurred close in time with the underlying criminal conduct that was charged in the superseding indictment against the defendants. And it appears as though it says the government has established a causal connection between the evidence and the charged conduct. It also goes on to say that McCarty's testimony provides background regarding the circumstances from which the charged conduct developed, including a history of the alleged conspirators' relationships with one another, saying that although the individuals involved in the 2010 and 2014 events are not identical, the cast of characters is largely the same. The evidence, it says, completes the story of the charged conduct and therefore is likely to enhance jurors' understanding of the events. And lastly, in the 11-page opinion, it says the court finds that there is sufficient evidence from which a jury could determine that the 2010 conspiracy occurred as McCarty has alleged. And finally, it says Reissner complains that some portions of McCarty's interview summary constitute hearsay and will not be admissible in trial.
The United States acknowledges that the federal rules of evidence will apply and that McCarty will be limited to the extent of his personal knowledge. Accordingly, the court will not attempt to rule on Reissner's objections to specific statements based on speculation of what might be introduced at trial, and that Reissner is free to renew any objections if the government seeks to introduce that evidence during trial. But for all these reasons and some that I have left out, it concludes by simply saying this: that the evidence sought to be admitted by the United States, as we have referred to here briefly, and as I referred to when I first broke to you that statement of testimony entered on behalf of Scotty McCarty to the FBI, was offered as background evidence, which is inextricably intertwined with other relevant evidence, and the proposed evidence, according to the court, forms an integral part of the witness's testimony and completes the story of the offenses charged. And even if the evidence were not admissible as background evidence, it would be admissible under what they call Rule 404 by the Federal Rules of Evidence. So, furthermore, the order stands as follows. It is ordered that defendant Gary Rooster Reissner's motion to exclude the evidence is denied, and that the evidence and statements as were presented by Scotty McCarty will be allowed and permissible in court. And at this hour, it still looks as though that jury trial is still set for July the 5th. Now we'll wrap it up with your weather forecast, which fortunately has a lot of this moisture staying off to our north and west at the moment, but it's moving in the direction of the viewing area, obviously, and we will get in on the bottom portion. Therefore, scattered showers and cloudy skies continue. No severe weather threat during your overnight, but do expect to see a low of right around 46, with showers likely mainly for us between 9:10 or so in the night and 5 a.m. in the morning. We'll follow that up with a midweek 66-degree day tomorrow, still on the cooler side of life with 49 degrees tomorrow night, mostly cloudy. Look for some scattered showers tomorrow morning. They should wrap up by 10 o'clock or so at the latest, and then we'll see once again 66 and continued mostly cloudy skies, I think, thereafter throughout your Wednesday night. Temperatures do pick up a bit for Thursday. Thursday looks to be the winner, mostly sunny, 71. You'll notice that 10% threat of showers. We're talking well into Friday morning, so Thursday right at 70 and full of mostly sunny skies, and full of, even though I don't sound it, I'm full of excitement because that's the best day I've got for you in the forecast. As temperatures will kind of teeter-totter between the upper 60s and low 70s for days. Friday, 67, 57 for highs and lows. A chance of showers early, but a likelihood of showers by late morning thereafter on to your Friday. As for Saturday, showers likely, maybe even a thunderstorm there as well. Wet both days to some degree, and 67 for Friday and Saturday. So very similar days in temperature and in precipitation. Sorry about that. As far as the latter half of your weekend, we will see about a 30% chance of some showers, and those chances will diminish as Sunday rolls about, but still 71 and 55 for the end of your weekend, and not the nicest of weekends weather-wise. And I know on playback, my voice sounds much worse in my head than it does on TV. I'm thankful for that, and sorry that you have to go through this, but indeed, I'm going back to bed. It's where I've spent much of the morning and afternoon, and hope to be better by tomorrow's program, at least to some degree. Goodness gracious.
Well, I can't say that I'll feel better and I'll be able to work in a much more efficient capacity tomorrow. I can say I'll be back, and we will, as is every night the case, have news that you'll only see here on Your News Today. Enjoy your Tuesday evening, as cool and somewhat dreary as it is. We'll talk election results and other news that you can only find here when we see you back here the next time. For now and for every night, thank you for watching and being a part of the show.